Your sourcing methods must be bulletproof as an Amazon seller, otherwise you're going to fail. If you pick the wrong product, you're going to waste time, money, and have nothing to show for it. But if you get it right, you can build a highly profitable business that generates sales every single day. I've become a six-figure seller and generate an average of £50,000 in revenue each month. Now I'm going to show you the very simple techniques that I use to find profitable products. In this video, I'll walk through the exact processes that me and my team use to find profitable products to sell on Amazon. I'll talk about the tools that I use to help me along the way, the pros and cons of each method, and how you are going to scale to finally hit those revenue targets that you've been dreaming of. Well, I'll share a system that keeps my sourcing process efficient and profitable. Let's get started. Manual sourcing, the traditional method of sourcing by manually searching through retail websites to see if there are any profitable products you can sell on Amazon. How does it work? Browse online retail stores like Argos, Boots, and John Lewis. Check the sites for any sales, work your way through the discounted products, compare prices between the retailer and Amazon. Use profit calculator tools like SellerAmp to see if the price disparity is large enough to make a profit. Then use Keepa to do your deal analysis to make sure it is a good purchase. Pros, it's low cost, relatively simple, helps you develop knowledge of the market. Cons, it can be very time consuming and quite often you find yourself scrolling through products that aren't even for sale on Amazon. You open up a website that we either like in our personal life or that we've had good success with in the past, and then we can just start manually looking through the products and trying to see if we can sell them on Amazon. Here I've just opened up the Boots website, and what I always like to do when I open up a website is just have a look through the homepage. So first up, we can see cashback is activated on this website, which is always excellent. We can also see standard delivery for free when we spend over £25. That's really important because we do not want to be spending any shipping fees. And then as we can see, we've got sales being advertised to us on the front page. So £10 Tuesday, half price, 3 for 2, etc, etc. We can scroll down and see some information about these sales. And there seems to be some further sales as we scroll down. So rather than just picking any particular category, it's always good to start with a sale. So in this one, I'm going to go for the 3 for 2 sale. And here we've got a number of products that are on 3 for 2. So what we can now do is use SellerAmp. So as long as you've got SellerAmp installed onto your computer, they've got this awesome function which you can either right click over the writing and you see where it comes up, it says SAS search, or if you click on the image, it will give you two options. You've got the SAS search where it takes the words and it will search for the words, or it's got the SAS AI image search where it will use AI to look for a picture similar to that on the Boots website. By clicking on this, it will bring up all the potential options that are available on Amazon. So what SellerAmp has done is it searched for this image or the words on Amazon and it's returned the most likely results. Now it will give you the top 5 and then you can click on load more and it will do exactly that. It will load some more. So what information does SellerAmp show us? So we have the image, we have the name, we have the ASIN and the barcode number. It also gives us the category. Next up is the important information. So we've got the BSR and the estimated sales. So we can see this particular product, it only sells 1 time per month, so we're probably not going to be interested in that. Next up, we have the maximum cost. Now, this is the maximum cost that we can buy this product for in order for us to make a profit based on our requirements. So my personal requirements are £2 profit and 20% ROI. We can then see here we've got the number of offers. So in this instance there's 3 sellers and the current buy box price is £30. Now this particular product is going to be no good to us for a number of reasons. It doesn't sell enough. I want at least 20 sales per month. And the maximum cost is well below what we can buy it for. So we can just simply move on to different products. So I'm going to move on to this particular product. this time using the words search rather than the image search. And SellerAmp has returned me a number of particular products. As you can see here, it has returned a few, and you can see over here we actually have to select a specific color. But if we're looking through some of these products, it looks like some of these products may well be affordable. So we've got a 3 for 2 offer on, so that's £32 is if we buy one of these products. If we were to buy 3 of them, then we'd be able to buy them for just over £21. This means that this particular product will fall within our criteria, with the maximum cost being £24.02. So what we need to do here is we need to open this product up on a new web page, and if we click on the A button here, so you see when I hover over, we get 4 little buttons appear. If we click on the A, it will open up the Amazon listing for us. Now, it's very important that we make sure we know which color we're looking at. You can see on the Boots website here, it asks us to choose a color. So now the Amazon page has loaded, we can see that the shade is number 1.5. So we can select that on the Boots website when that loads up. But we already know that we're going to be able to buy this for £21.33. That'll give us a profit of £7.02 with an ROI of 32.91%, which is excellent. It sells 100 times per month across the 2 different variations, so we can go on and check those variations. We can also scroll down, make sure there's not too much competition. So there are quite a lot of sellers, 18 in total. However, the vast majority of sellers have only 1 in stock, and we can actually see that there is only 45 cumulative stock at the moment. If we scroll down and have a look at our Keepa graph, you can see there's been a huge increase in sellers, which is usually a very bad sign. However, in a strange twist, the price has actually been increasing. Now, I suspect this has been happening because not many sellers have much stock. Most of the sellers have quite a few in stock, and like I've already said, 45 total. So that's only 2 weeks worth of stock. We just check our variations quickly. So our variations tell us it's about a 50%. So actually, this product is going to sell around 58 times per month. So this is actually just under a month's worth of stock. The sharp increase in sellers is concerning. However, the price has increased. So I would be happy to buy this particular product. We can go back to Boots and we can have a look at any other of these products because it has returned different variations. We know our maximum cost, or we know our buy price is £21. So maximum cost of anything in that region. So this particular one would be okay. However, the sales are very low. And we can keep scrolling through to see if there are any more variations. I would then simply continue to manually source through this particular sale. I'd work my way through the rest of these particular products, going through all of these particular products, and then I'd probably return back to the Boots webpage and continue through onto some other sales. Reverse sourcing. Instead of searching for products on a retail store, instead we look for products that are already selling really well on Amazon. Then we try to find them at a cheap price elsewhere by simply reverse sourcing them on Google. How it works: you look for best selling or high volume selling products on Amazon in the category of your choice. Use tools like Keepa to analyze the price trends, then search online stores to find this product at a discounted rate. The pros: it's more efficient than manual sourcing. It helps find fast moving products. Cons: quite often the best selling products are sold by Amazon themselves, and we do not have the buying power to match their prices. For reverse sourcing, we are looking for products that we know already sell well on Amazon. So a good way of doing that is just to literally open up Amazon and search for types of products. I'm looking at a lot of consumable products right now, so I've just kept it quite broad and just typed in bin liners. Then what I do
is I can just scroll down and have a look at the different types of bin liners that are on Amazon. Now, be wary, these top 5 are usually always going to be sponsored. So this doesn't necessarily mean they sell well, it just means that people have paid to get put at the top of the listings. So the best sellers are going to be the ones that are in the next section that don't say sponsored. Now, we want to be careful because something like this, they're going to be quite cheap and we're not going to be able to actually buy these and sell them at a profitable price. But what I am doing is I'm just having a look to see, is there a brand that I recognise that isn't private label that is going to do me quite well? So these 2 brands here are quite popular, Brabantia and Simple Human. These are quite popular brands, and as you can see, they're being sold in bulk. A consumable like this, the key is going to be selling it in bulk because individual packs are going to be far too cheap for us to be able to sell. What I'll then do is I'll open up SellerAmp and I'll type in a search term of what I'm looking for. So in this instance, let's have a look at Simple Human bin liners. As you can see, it's returned a whole load of the Simple Human bin liners. What we can do is start reverse sourcing each and every one of these, but because SellerAmp gives us a whole load of information, we can actually make some decisions before starting to reverse source. For example, these top 3, Amazon are in stock. You can see they've got over 1,000 for every one of these listings, so I'm probably going to give that a miss. The first one, which Amazon isn't on, only sells 6 times a month, so again, probably give that a miss. Next up, we've got a 20 pack where our maximum cost is £1.76. Next one, our max cost is £1, probably too cheap. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start strolling down. I'm probably going to avoid selling against Amazon. I'm going to look for a set that is a bit more of a more reasonable maximum cost that also has good sales. So let's try this particular one here. So how do we reverse source? Again, our 4 buttons have popped up. If we click on the G, what it's going to do is it's going to take us to Google, and it's automatically searched for the Amazon listing and has returned a whole load of search results. And the top ones up here are the shopping ones. So we can go back to SellerAmp. We know our maximum cost is going to be, so our maximum cost is going to be £8.59 for 60 bin liners. So we're going to have to do some maths. But realistically, what we can do is we can just work our way through all of these particular products to see if we can buy it at the price we need. We can then click further along and we can find a whole load of different other options. This, in essence, is how you go about reverse sourcing. Obviously, once you find a product at the reasonable price, then you do still need to go into the Amazon listing and you need to do the analysis as you would normally. The way you do that is to, again, click on the A button.
StoreFront Stalking. This is where you spy on successful sellers' storefronts to see what products other sellers are selling. How does it work? You find sellers with a good star rating, but not too high because they're likely to be wholesalers. Once you find these sellers, you look at which products they're selling in the category you're looking at. You can use Amazon's storefront feature to look at all the products this seller is selling. However, if you're using a tool like SellerAmp, they have a feature where you can do the same. And in my opinion, it is far more efficient to use SellerAmp than it is to use the Amazon storefront feature. Once you've found products that meet your criteria through SellerAmp, you can check what the Keepa graph looks like, make sure there's no red flags, and then you can reverse source these products to see if you can find them at a profitable price. The pros are you can learn from profitable sellers that know what they're doing. You can find hidden gems that may otherwise have escaped you. Cons. Because of the delay in getting products into Amazon, by the time they appear on another seller's storefront, they may well have bought this product 2 to 3 weeks prior, meaning that that product is no longer on sale. Rather than giving up and thinking you can't find any of these products, what you're looking for is trends. Using successful sellers' stores, you can start to build up a picture of their sourcing patterns, combine that with the trends on Keepa graphs, and you can start to predict when certain items will go on sale. When it comes to storefront sourcing, I recommend you find a product that you found previously that was a good deal, or you just pick any random product when you're first starting out. If you scroll down to the sellers in SellerAmp,
And what we're looking for is we're looking just to choose a seller that ideally has ratings between 50 and 500. So you can see this one here has got 457, so there'll be a good target. The reason I say that is because less than 50, they might be inexperienced and not actually be very good at this. And then over 500, we could be getting into the realms of sort of wholesale sellers. So if we just click on this button here, it will open up their storefront. Now, first thing we want to do is just make sure that they're a reseller and not a specialist seller. So in this instance, we can see got a whole range of different products, and they've also got a whole range of different categories. This is important because we're looking for resellers that sell a bit of everything. And if we just scroll down the first few products, they've got some cream, headphones, tea bags, makeup. Very definitely a reseller. Good example of a specialist seller would be, for example, this one here. Firstly, their name is Parfume Direct, so it would imply that they are a specialist seller. But when we click on them, what happens is we can see that they are quite specialist. All perfumes, as the name would suggest, heavily in the beauty category. Now, what's interesting is that they do have quite a lot of other products in other categories. But if, for example, we click on stationery and office supplies, we can see that what happens is actually these are just products that have been miscategorized. They're just perfumes. They're just in the wrong category for some reason. So we want to avoid these types of sellers. We want to focus on the resellers. What we can do is scroll down, much like we've done previously, and we can have a look at the Keepa graphs. If anything takes our fancy, we can then try to reverse source it. So in very much how we did previously, we can just click on the G button and it will open up on Google, and then we will be looking for that product. Maximum cost 97 pence, going to be very, very unlikely to buy it for that. But what Google does is it will return the products, and we can very, very quickly see if we're going to be close to being able to buy this product or not. So £4.10 seems to be the cheapest, £3.90 over here. So it doesn't look like we're going to be able to buy this one. So we can go back and try to look for some more products. So this particular one here, £12.19, that might have more of a chance. So we can open this up again and we can hopefully find it. So here we have it for $19.99. You can scroll along, see if there are any more options. Doesn't appear to be, but you get the picture. So we just keep doing this. There's a lot more to it. There's a lot more tricks that we can have a look at. So for example, we can rule stuff out based on estimated sales. These are all very good. Maximum cost, that looks probably too low. We can also see that there's 41 sellers, 32 sellers. Maybe that's too high. We can see, looking at the graphs, that Amazon are on the listings here. Maybe we want to avoid those. There are definitely ways we can go into more depth on this screen before choosing what to search for, but this just gives you a flavour of how to reverse source.
Keepa Product Finder method. Using Keepa's database of Amazon products, we can use an array of filters to find products that specifically match our needs. How it works. Open Keepa and use the Product Finder feature. Set filters such as sales rank, price range, competition level, and categories. Analyze product graphs to see consistent demand and profitability, and then search for these products on a retail website. Pros. It's a data-driven method with historical insights. It massively reduces guesswork, and it is a hugely underutilized method, meaning if you can master this, you're going to give yourself a massive advantage. The cons, it does require a Keepa subscription, but in my opinion, if you're not using Keepa, you're not taking this seriously.
To use Keepa Product Finder, you open up keepa.com, you go to data, you go to Product Finder, and what it does is it opens up a page which has hundreds, if not thousands, of different filters. So if I just scroll down very quickly, you can see all of these different filters are things that you can input into Keepa, and it will return you the results according to what you've input. So there are millions, if not billions, of different combinations of results. So what I like to do is be quite specific. I've used this a lot. I play around. I have whole different kind of filters. So today I'm going to look for sort of like perfume products. So for the top one, sales rank, BSR, I'm going to look in the top 35,000. And I'm going to come down here and I'm going to choose the category of beauty because I want to look for some perfume. And if you look over here in this box here, we can see number. Every time I input a new filter, this number reduces and will show us how many filters or how many products will match my filters. Next important thing for me is to come down to new offer count. I always put from 3 upwards, and I do that to try to eliminate IP and private label products. By putting a 3 and above, you will hopefully reduce the amount of private label products completely. 1 or 2 may slip through the net. Now, beyond that, there's nothing really further down that I'm going to be doing today, apart from variations. I'm going to select no variations, because even though I do sell lots of variations, I find when using this method, it's always good to put no variations, because you'll get a lot of products come through that don't actually meet your criteria because one of the variations does, but it's not a very good selling product. So we've still got 7,000 products. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to cut to this section, which is where we can get really creative. So you can see here I've selected category beauty, but I'm also going to select some subcategories. So for example, I said perfume, but I'm going to be even more specific. I'm going to go for some men's. So let's go for this one. That's taking us down to 78 products, which is a great number to have a look at. Then what we can also do over here is we could put some brands in here. So we could just type some brands of perfumes. We can also exclude some types of perfumes. I'm just going to leave that for now because 78 is not a bad number to look at. So click on find products and it's going to return us all of our products. Okay, so here's all the products and we can just start having a look through them. I'm going to skip over some because I know I'm either gated or, for example, in this one I believe it's an IP product. This one I'm not particularly aware of. I think these two potentially might be more private label or potentially gated, I believe. So let's just have a look at this particular product here. So we can see it's quite erratic on the buy box. Amazon are on the listing, but importantly, they are sharing the buy box a lot. Now, this is the type of product that I like to look at because a lot of people get scared because Amazon are on the listing. But because of that, I like to sell, especially when they clearly share the buy box. So let's open this up now. Important tip, make sure you right click because otherwise it will open up in this page. So I've opened this up and let's go and take a look at the listing. Okay, so now we're on to the Amazon listing. You can see seller app is loaded up. 22 sales per month, which isn't that great, but it does hit my criteria. Now the Amazon page has loaded. We can see seller app has popped up. 22 sales per month, which is great. And we've already had a look at the Keepa graph. So all we need to do now really is just check there's nothing alarming in the sellers. We know Amazon are on the listing, but we do know they also share the buy box. There are 2 FBA sellers, only with 1 stock each. So this looks like a good opportunity. Maximum cost is £84.55, which does seem reasonable for a product such as this. So I'm going to click on the G and that is going to come up with the Google search and we can hopefully see if we can buy this at a profitable price. Okay, so results have loaded up. There are a few different results. Now with perfumes, it's really important to make sure you're looking at the correct volumes because straight away I'm looking at one here, 57.40. Obviously that seems amazing because our maximum cost was £84. But you can see this was 100 ml and the one we're looking at is 200. So we do have to be careful with that. But straight away here, I can see we have an option. £70.25, £4.99 delivery, potentially a opportunity to get it even cheaper. Maybe there's a code we can use, maybe there's free shipping if we spend enough money. But you can see here we've got some excellent options. Here is potentially another option. although that's 100 millilitres, so that's not right. But you can see there are a few different options. Just need to check we've got the right volume. There's a whole array of different options. So let's just have another look at this one. So here we go, 200 ml, total £70.25. And it looks like there was a shipping fee. I'm not entirely sure if there is a free shipping fee, but we can work that out by adding it to the cart, and we'll be able to see exactly how much shipping is. So we could add a few bottles of this, add it to the cart, and then we'll be able to get our total price. So that's how we use Keepa Product Finder, and I'll simply come back and I'd start having a look through some other products. So this one looks really good, nice and stable buy box. This looks very, very good, so we can open this up and we can reverse source and try to find this product as well.
Newsletter sourcing. Use retailers' newsletters to find exclusive deals and discounts. How it works. Whenever you have to give your email address to an online company, they bombard you with emails and it drives you mad. I can't stand it. It clogs up my email box and I just cannot wait to unsubscribe. However, when we're sourcing for products, this is a cheat code. Imagine waking up every day before sourcing and having 10, 15, 20 emails telling you about all the amazing sales that are happening that day. Rather than randomly selecting some online retailers, you're getting told directly to your inbox which retailers have got sales on which day. Once you've signed up to these newsletters and you receive them each and every day, then you choose these newsletters and then carry out manual sourcing on the sales that you've chosen through these newsletters. Massive time saver being sent directly to sales. You get access to hidden deals and discounts that maybe not everyone will find, and you can find less competitive product. The cons, you can get inundated with discounts and sales, but you will get inundated with emails. I highly recommend you set up a separate account, especially for your newsletters. And a lot of newsletters will actually be useless. But once you work out which are the ones to pay attention to, it's an absolute hack.
For newsletter sourcing, it's simply a case of having a look through your emails, see what newsletters you have, and then having a look at the best ones, which you can then use to start your sourcing. So for example, here's my inbox. I'm just going to scroll through now. There's a few that look good to me. There's this one here, it says 33% off. We've got one here that says 50% off. And what I'll do is I'll just scroll through and look for the most eye-catching of sales. Here is 45% off. Here we've got £110 off. Here is 30% off. So what we can do is we can just open up a few of those and we can have a look and see what the offers say. So here we've got 32% off French pharmacy. There's also a point scheme, so earn 2 points for every pound. And then it's showing me advertising what they've got on sale. So they've got a third off a lot of products. I also saw a 25% off at some point. So there's a whole range of different products for sale. So this looks like a really good opportunity. So we could use this particular website and go through it manually and do manual sourcing. So that's exactly what newsletter is. It's just a starting point. Rather than randomly picking a website to source from, you can use a newsletter to narrow down your search so you know there are going to at least be some good sales in those websites. So if we have a look at some other websites, here we've got 50% off certain brands, which again would be an excellent opportunity. Here again, up to 30% off shorts, so it's quite a specialised website, but again, 30% off is a fantastic sale. And then on this one, we had a monetary value, so £110 off. It looks like off Ninja air fryers, so this could be an excellent opportunity for us as well.
So there you have 5 sourcing methods. I'd love to hear in the comments which one is your favourite. For me personally, it's Keepa Product Finder. And the sole reason being, too many people think it's too complicated and therefore avoid it. If you can practice and become really good at using Keepa Product Finder, you will make your life so much easier. In my opinion, it's also the best method to use to have consistent products. Replenishable products are huge when it comes to Amazon. They're products that you can just keep buying time and time again. I have found far more replenishable products using Keepa Product Finder than I ever have using any other method. In fact, I'd go as far as to say I found more using that one method than the others put together. Now you're an expert sourcer, how can we scale your business? In my opinion, transitioning into using a VA will absolutely turbocharge your business. Now, why do I say that? Well, I've talked about manual sourcing, newsletter sourcing, reverse sourcing, StoreFront Stalking, and Keepa Product Finder. And as good as these 5 methods are, the reality is sourcing takes a lot of time. At first, I was spending hours upon hours each and every day hunting for profitable products. And do you know what? I barely found any when I was starting. The first product that I ever bought that I sourced myself was a toy, and it sold 2 times a month. Why did I buy it? Because it was a stupid buy, but I bought it because I just had to buy something I'd found myself. Now, of course, with practice, I became a lot quicker and a lot better. And before too long, I was finding a nice steady supply of products. But that only took me so far. I realized I wanted to scale my business. I had the cash, I just wanted to grow. That's when I brought in my sourcing VA. And let me tell you, it was an absolute game changer. So why use a VA? The exact way that I use my VA. I outsource the product sourcing to her. She spends 40 hours a week product sourcing products to my requirements specifically for me. It completely frees up my time. Instead of me spending hours a day trying to find products, I have someone dedicated to doing that exact job. It keeps my inventory flowing. My VA finds new deals each and every day, which means there's a continual flow of fresh inventory. It lets me focus on growing the business. With sourcing handled, I can concentrate on scaling. It also allows me to spend time on my other business and do cool ventures like my YouTube channel. So how can you get a sourcing VA? If you're serious about growing your Amazon FBA business, then hiring a product sourcing VA is probably the best thing you can do. Now, yes, of course, I'm biased because I own Outsource Central and I train VAs specially to do this job. Training VAs has become a bit of a passion of mine, and I truly believe that we are making great strides in this industry. We have got a whole plethora of positive reviews, and more importantly, I'm changing people's lives in the Philippines. So why choose us? Well, simply put, I think we're the best in the business. All VAs are trained by me personally, a current Amazon seller in the UK. This means that they are up to date with all the latest happenings in Amazon. So rather than being trained by someone who's been trained to train, they're being trained by a genuine seller. The training program is 5 weeks long, which is double any other agency, and they have to pass rigorous criteria before we're happy to give them to a client. We offer a 3-month aftercare system to make sure that everything runs smoothly. If you're still doing all your sourcing by yourself, trust me, you don't have to. Investing in a sourcing VA was by far the best investment in my business that I've made. If you're interested, go look up Outsource Central or check out the link in the description below. There's loads of really useful information on how to source for products that you can sell on Amazon. If you found this video useful, please give it a like and follow along for more videos. If you have any questions, please comment below or DM me on Instagram. See you in the next one.